that in India, he got a call from India that during the day of Ashuraa, they prepare plenty of food and they give it to the poor. Giving food to the poor on any day is recommended. But the problem is with believing that you should give on a particular day or a particular night. There are some fabricated ahadith in this regard with regards to the virtues of cooking plenty of food, to the extent that not only in India, in Egypt for instance, because it was occupied by the Fatimites. The Fatimites were not Muslims, by the way. The Fatimites who introduced to this ummah all this myth. These celebrations of the Prophet's birthday and death day, and Al-Hussein, Al-Hassan, and Aisha, and Zainab, and all of that. All these occasions were invented by these guys. Okay, it's a sect of Shia, and the Fatimites were not Muslims, to the extent that they considered their leader, Mu'izz al-Din al-Fatimi, as a divine being or so. So what I'm trying to say is, these traditions have nothing to do with Islam. You brought up a very interesting thing, which you said that in India, they believe that Ashuraa have anything to do with the death or the martyrdom of Al-Hussein. May Allah be pleased with him. Of course, every time we say his name, we say radiyallahu anhu. Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, the mainstream of this ummah, love the Prophet ﷺ and his household and his family members more than anybody else. More than anybody else. And we consider the love, when we love Al-Bayt, this is one of the best means of approach to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to enter His paradise. By loving the Prophet ﷺ and Al-Baytah. And the love requires to do what pleases the Prophet ﷺ and to follow his footsteps, not to innovate. Aisha radiyallahu anha, and by the way, these guys don't like Aisha, of course. So whatever I quote from Aisha, say we don't believe in her hadith, we don't believe in Abu Bakr, we don't believe in Umar, but they believe in these occasions. I guess everybody has seen a couple of days ago, as we were Ahlul Sunnah, we were fasting on the day of Ashuraa, hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expiate the sins of the past year, as it has been narrated in the hadith. And in many hadith, of course, some other people were celebrating by beating themselves and representing themselves as Muslims. What an awful image and an awful picture that they were showing to the whole world. You know what? If God forbid, if I was not a Muslim, and I see these people beating themselves, they injuring themselves, nobody's torturing them, they're torturing themselves. And blood all over, with swords and with chains, with medals, and all of them saying, I'm not interested in this religion. I don't want to hurt myself. I'm trying to spare myself and be safe. Would I enter a religion where people hurt themselves, beat themselves to bleed, and sometimes even kill themselves? A lot of killing incidents. They kill themselves. Why? For no reason. Mere innovation. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِكُمْ رَحِيمًا. The hadith says, and the hadith is a sound hadith, كَانَ أَهْلُ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ, the people in Jahiliyyah before Islam, before Islamic era, they used to fast on the 10th of Muharram. Whether they know for what reason or not, it has been a tradition. This tradition has been since the time of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. When Allah drowned the Pharaoh and saved Musa and his followers, the 12 tribes of the Israelites, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa alayhi salam, wanted to thank Allah, so he fasted on the day. He observed fasting on the day. And it has been a tradition ever since. Similarly, the Meccans used to do certain things, tawaf, sa'i. These are the traditions and the manasik of Ibrahim alayhi salam, but they have altered it a great deal. They used to do tawaf around the Kaaba naked, in the nude. And instead of saying labbaik, they would whistle and clap. They have changed due to innovations. So they used to fast even before the birth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when the Prophet ﷺ arrived to Al-Madinah, And this is a hadith now which is narrated by Abdullah ibn Abbas. Ahlul Bayt. You should respect them and take their hadith. He entered Medina and he found the Jews were fasting on that day. He said, what is the occasion? Why do you fast on that day? They said, this is the day on which Allah saved Bani Israel. So Musa decided to thank Allah by fasting on that day. So the Prophet ﷺ said, نَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِمُوسَى مِنْهُمْ. We do have more rights with Musa than them. We follow Musa. Musa is my brother. He belongs to us. We belong to him. These guys do not belong to Musa. So we should fast. And this is when Ashuraa was considered as a wajib, to fast, before the mandate of fasting of Ramadan. Of course, after fasting of Ramadan was considered mandatory, every other fasting has become mere mandub, recommended. And the only mandatory fasting is the month of Ramadan. And the Prophet ﷺ kept fasting, and he said the virtues of fasting on the day, that fasting on the 10th of Ashuraa forgives the sins, the entire sins of the past year, the minor sins of course.